As Mickey Willis so elegantly portrays in his new documentary, there is a great awakening. People everywhere are starting to realize that there is a very powerful threat hanging over our heads. It's not terrorism, oil shortages, or cyber attacks. The clearest and most pressing danger lies in the fact that most of our modernized population has at least one chronic illness as we speak. And the powers that be have engineered the modern medical system so that they can take away our medical freedom to extract the maximum amount of profit from us while keeping us just barely healthy enough to pay the most of our money, even going into debt sometimes until we finally die. But the good news is that there is absolutely something we can do about it. The bad news is that there is a modern medical crisis, and therefore there is a rise in the need for true holistic healers. As of January 2022, in the US, there are approximately 331 million people, using the percentages provided by the CDC, and about 60% of US adults have at least one chronic disease. If we consider the adult population of the US to be roughly 75% of the total population, which is about 248 million adults, then about 149 million adults in the US have at least one chronic disease. About 40% of US adults have two or more chronic conditions. Using the same estimation for the adult population, this would equate to roughly 99 million adults with two or more chronic conditions. Now, examples of chronic conditions are diabetes, cancer, heart disease, glaucoma, colitis. The number of people with chronic conditions is growing at an alarming rate. And today, the numbers are even worse. Now, despite advances in modern medicine, our health is worse today than ever before in our history. There's no doubt that sickness affects us directly, causing untold suffering and hardship. But I'm here to tell you how the situation got so bad and how learning the steps to becoming a holistic healer can help you do something about it. So why are we sick? I'll be brutally honest here so that there are no misunderstandings. We get sick because our lack of health is economically profitable for a lot of big companies and shareholders. This includes, first, the food industry with all the designer junk foods and beverages that hold no nutritional value and actually make us fat and sick. There's a book called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Weston A. Price. He is a Canadian dentist, and he was one of the founders of the holistic health movement. Now, this book is from 1939, but in this book, he chronicles his travels around the world to study the diets and nutrition of various traditional cultures, comparing the health of those who ate indigenous foods with the health of individuals in the same communities who consumed more modern processed foods. Here are his main observations. Number one, traditional diets versus modern diets. Dr. Price documented the superior health, physical development, and dental health, like the absence of cavities and properly formed dental arches, of populations consuming their native traditional diets. These diets were diverse, but were rich in essential nutrients and were devoid of processed foods. And number two, he found degeneration due to processed foods. Now, when the same populations began consuming a more modern diet of refined sugars, flours, canned foods, pasteurized milk, etc., there was a noticeable decline in their overall health and physical development. Dental issues such as cavities and malocclusions became rampant. Beyond dental health, Dr. Price observed a general physical degeneration, including susceptibility to chronic diseases and other health issues. And our food supply has only become worse. Not only are they processed, but all sorts of harmful chemicals, genetically modified substances, and all sorts of unwanted things that he had never even heard of before are now being added to our food supply, in addition to all the things that were already being added back in his day, back in 1939. Second reason why we're sick is because of all the polluting industries that fill our lives and bodies with harmful toxins, like the poisons they try to force into our bloodstreams, the toxins that they spray in our skies, the mind-numbing chemicals they treat our water supply with, the life-killing pesticides they spray on our genetically modified food, the irritants and allergens and nutrient-depleting ingredients they put in our soaps, cosmetics, clothing, houses, and even children's toys. The list goes on and on. And let's not forget all the mental toxins that they feed us on social media, movies, propaganda in the news, schools, etc. And what about the toxic mindsets, relationships, and environments, etc., that we keep ourselves in? Third reason why we're sick is because the sick care industry, not the healthcare industry, the sick care industry figured out long ago that there's a lot more money to be made in treating symptoms with drugs and surgeries in expensive hospitals than in patient education, prevention, and natural medicine. Even if those drugs and surgeries are inferior, cause tons of side effects and more problems than they were originally designed to solve. Sadly, it's not just the pharmaceutical companies that are involved, but hospitals, health organizations such as the WHO, CDC, FDA, AMA, and all these other organizations that are supposed to be looking out for our health, but are actually mandating policies that are detrimental and even deadly. Why do they do this? Because there's a lot of money to be made in making and keeping us sick. As Professor Paul Zane Pilzer explained in his best-selling book, The Wellness Revolution, incredibly powerful economic forces are preventing people from taking control of their health and actually encouraging them to gain weight. Forces so powerful that nothing short of a revolution will be able to stop them, and not just gain weight, but become extremely sick and even die. But there's nothing short of a revolution that will be able to stop these forces. Since birth, we have been bombarded with millions of ads that turn us into happily paying consumers of the very things that make us sick. Now, the only way for us to become and stay healthy for life is to train ourselves to see through all the commercial deception and brainwashing and learn how to truly be healthy and heal ourselves. This is what we teach in the Arukah Holistic Healer Certification Program at Arukah.com. We cannot expect a solution from those who don't have our best interest at heart. We have to take matters in our own hands. And when we learn how to care for ourselves and our loved ones with holistic healing wisdom, we learn something equally important at the same time: how to help the other half of the population that is constantly and chronically ill. My name is Mayim Vega. I am a holistic healer and the founder of Arukah.com, the Holistic Life Academy. And I invite you to join me in the free course, 8 Steps to Become a Holistic Healer, that you can register for at my website, www.arukah.com. That's ARUKAH.com, where I'm going to uncover the steps that I took to go from becoming a computer scientist at NASA to a stay-at-home mom trying to take care of my family the best I knew how. But because of the failing modern medical system, how I instead took my health and healing and the health and healing of my family into my own hands and became a confident and effective holistic healer. Now, coaching and training others, including medical workers such as doctors, nurses, medical technicians, etc., as well as people who were like myself back in 2003, just a simple mom trying to raise her family, and teaching them how to become confident and effective holistic healers. Become the healer of your home and your community without the need for pharmaceutical drugs with harmful side effects, hospitals, doctors, or even dentists. Build a profitable online health coaching business. Get started on your journey and register for this free mini course now at www.arukah.com, ARUKAH.com. You have nothing to lose and your health and well-being to gain, as well as the health and wellness of your family, your loved ones, and your community. www.arukah.com, ARUKAH.com. See you on the other side.